Hey, morning. Always great to be able to hang out with you. You know what we do at this time of the week. Every week, it's Wednesday, baby. It's hump day, the best day of the week, I claim. And as always, doesn't matter how you started the week, here you are. You found a way to make it to the middle of the week. Just have to work over the hump now to finish, right? So, always great to be able to hang out with you. Thank you so much for joining. Feel free not to be a passive listener. Feel free to comment. Feel free to ask questions. And looking forward to just hanging out with you. So, I'm curious though. Have you ever wondered why, in the face of difficulty and challenge and adversity, there are some people who just hold it together, man? They're just calm and cool and collected. And then there are others who just simply fall apart. Ever wonder that? The thing is, whenever we meet difficult situations, we always have two choices, I believe. We have two choices. We can either let our emotions get the better of us, and you become paralyzed by fear, or you know what, you can just kind of chill. You can figure a way to lift yourself up or pull yourself away from the negative emotion or the negativity that's going around, that's swirling around you, and just transform yourself into someone who can see the possibilities. I think those are the two choices that we have essentially when we face challenging situations, when we find ourselves in adversity. And the truth is that even if you consider yourself to be, you know, naturally gregarious and effusive and a happy, kind of chirpy kind of person, don't don't uh, don't get it twisted. You are going to face some challenges. It's inevitable that you'll encounter challenges at some point along your way. And these experiences, these situations have the power, I guess, to bend you. They always bend you. They have the power to break you if you allow them to be, right? So the way you deal with these issues is by becoming resilient, which is what I want to speak about this morning in the developing a resilient mindset. Now, unlike positive thinking and self compassion and gratitude and so on. These are all things that can be developed, I would say, during good times. Not necessarily when we're facing challenges, but in order to be resilient, you need some challenges. And I know we'd rather not have any difficulties in our lives. Um, but if you don't get knocked down, how in the world are you going to learn how to pick yourself up? It's not possible, right? So it's not fun, but yeah, you have to get knocked down a couple of times to learn how to pick yourself up, and in the process, develop resilience, right? Because over time, after life knocks you down, and you keep picking yourself up, you become stronger and stronger. And I would say less afraid to be knocked down. You're not um, welcoming those opportunities to be knocked down, but you know it's going to happen, and so you become less afraid, and become more able to deal with those situations. So yeah, resilience, this ability to bounce back when things don't go as planned, as we know that they will. Resilient people, they don't dwell on the failures. They know that's going to happen. They acknowledge the situation, and then they just kind of learn from it, learn from the mistakes, and they move on. I think they did a survey a while back, and they asked people, what it is that resilience meant to them. And 4 out of 5 of the respondents said that it was the ability to bounce back, right? To deal successfully with crises as they arrive, coping with life's ups and downs, as it were, the twists and turns. And then there are 3 out of 5 respondents who define it as something a little bit more long term, not just about reacting to crisis, but about having the tenacity, the determination, the ability to adapt um, uh, well, the ability to adapt well to constant change. And we know that change is always a constant in our lives. Now, so yeah, resilience, man, you have to, we need that. And it doesn't mean, being resilient doesn't mean that you're tough. Um, you know, it just simply means that you have the capacity to deal with discomfort and adversity, right? It's a skill, which is great news because we know that skills are things that you learn, you practice, you develop, and you get good at. And perhaps, you know, early at some point in your life when you're dealing with adversity, you're not very good at dealing with it. It brings you almost to the breaking point. But if you keep working at it, it's kind of like a muscle, I often say, right? It's a muscle that you can build, and if you have done any form of exercise at all, you know the deal. You start exercise, and the muscles hurt. Quite frankly, at any stage of your workout life, so to speak, right? Olympic athletes don't go through life. Professional athletes are not getting up every day working out without their muscles hurting, right? But what that pain does is that it means that you're being conditioned and your muscles are being strengthened. And so in our everyday lives, as we go through and we're dealing with the pain of the adversity, of the challenge, and we're working to build our resilient muscles, yes, it hurts, but eventually we get stronger. We get stronger, and we're better able to deal with the challenges that life is going to throw at us, right? So yes, it is really important for us to be resilient, you know, because without resilience, it means that we are at the mercy of the universe, right? We are at the mercy of the challenges that are inevitably going to come our way. And so, you know, our resilience is kind of the buffer, the thing that protects us from the storms of life, so to speak. So let's talk then about how you develop resilience. As I did say, it's a skill that you can develop. It's a muscle that you can grow. So let me share 4 ideas with you. Let me get my banners over here. So my friends over on IG. So number 1, the first thing you can do to develop a resilient mindset is learn how to reframe failure. You reframe failure, you're going to create success, right? It's no secret. I think all of us know that the success journey of life is paved with failure. There's going to be a lot of failures along the way. It's just a normal part of the journey. And as I said earlier, it's impossible for you to build any amount of resilience without failing, right? Unless you fail, you're not getting a chance to become resilient. And those of us who lack the ability to bounce back from the adversity, we end up internalizing the failure, and inevitably we give up, right? We fail. We have a failure event, I call it, and all of a sudden we begin to see ourselves as failure, as opposed to go, oh yeah, that thing failed, the event failed, the effort, the attempt failed. But I'm not a failure. It just means that I'm not good at this thing yet. That's the difference, you know. I am not good at this thing at the moment. If I keep working at it, if I keep trying, if I keep learning, then I will get good at it. And so the failure is really a signal, right? It's meant to be a stepping stone that get you through the challenging times and put you on the path to greatness, right? So let's start learning how to reframe failure and stop seeing ourselves as failures. And in the process, we become more resilient and put ourselves on a strong footing to move on towards our goals and be better prepared to take on the next challenge. So that's number 1. Reframe failure. When you do that, you create success. Number 2, build positive beliefs. Build positive beliefs. So yeah, the world, every now and again, or it might feel like our world has come crashing down, right? That's generally how setbacks and failures feel in our lives, right? Oh my God, it's the end. And when we experience those moments, um, we are susceptible, at least, to fall into a spiral of negative thinking, right? And it's like we start to play the why me game. We start to see ourselves as victims, right? You cannot overcome any challenge in your life if you start to think that that the universe is conspiring against you. That, you know what, man, that, I'm so tired of trying, everything I try fails. It's impossible to succeed if that's how you're going to think, right? um Negativity, negative thinking, a negative attitude gets you nowhere. I don't know if it makes some people feel good in the moment, but I promise you it will get you nowhere, right? You have to reframe the failure and start thinking about the positive possibilities. That's how I like to describe it. You have to develop this positive possibilities, this ability, this feeling, this sense that, I don't know how, but somehow or another things are going to work out. And when you have that attitude, when you develop that belief, you start working in a way, you start taking the kinds of action that are going to eventually lead to success, right? That's part and parcel of resilience, right? You're not allowing circumstances to beat you down. You're like, man, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but it has to work. And so you start working, you start doing something, anything to get you going. All right. So, yeah, reframe failure, build positive beliefs. Number three, focus on what you can control. You want to become more resilient, focus on what you can control, and then take action. Act on it, right? You have to be prepared that you're going to make mistakes. You're going to experience some setbacks. When these things happen, you know, see them as problems to be solved, and again, shift your attention uh, to working out how you can overcome this situation, right? I get don't the term I use is catastrophize. Things happen and we start to think of all the other things that can go wrong because this one thing happened, right? And so instead of focusing on, hey, how can I solve this? I just got knocked off course. How can I get back on course? What do I need to do to get back on course? We start catastrophizing because we want to control everything in our lives, and it's not possible. You cannot control everything in your life, right? There are times when the best laid plans are going to go awry. And yeah, I get it because the outcome is so important to you. You have invested so much in achieving this one goal that the last thing you want to see is things going off the rails. And so intuitively, we jump all over it and we want to have, like manhandle this thing down to the ground. I often use the analogy of when I drove bobsleds, and they're, one of the basic things that you want to get hit what you call the take on, that point on the corner where you're supposed to enter the corner. You want to hit that just right. You don't. No matter how much you train and visualize, you don't always do that, right? And the worse, the more you miss, or the worse that take on is the worse your run during that corner as you start to do what we call the wave, up and down. And again, the tendency is to go, oh my God, I need to just manhandle this sled and get it to where I want it to go. But all you manage to do is make it worse. And so you have to kind of sit there and get really focused, waiting for that point where you know you need to take action, and then you act. And that's what we need to do in our lives as well. It's not about being complacent. It's about becoming hyper focused, recognizing that, you know what, this wave thing that's going on right now, I shouldn't try to control it because I'm going to make things worse. What can I control? I can control my ability to focus. I can control my ability to stay calm. We kind of started with that conversation early, right? That people, there are some people who just are able to stay calm during times of adversity, and they're the ones who come out well. So in those instances, that you focus on that, work on staying calm and waiting through some wisdom and anticipation to figure out, well, this is the point when I need to take decisive action, and then you take it, right? So reframe failure, build positive beliefs, focus on what you can control, and then my favorite is you have to keep on pushing. Fix this right here. Keep on pushing, right? Again, we're always gonna find face obstacles. Also gonna have to face setbacks. The skills, the knowledge, the experience that you have now will bring you to this point in your life. It has brought you to this point in your life. All of that. To get to the next level, you have to continue to grow. You have to continue to improve your skill set. You have to continue to garner more knowledge, make more contacts, whatever it is that you need to do. That's what you need to do to get past the challenges, get past the hurdles. You have to keep on pushing and continue growing, right? That if you go back to the study I referenced earlier, some people say, yeah, resilience is about bouncing back from a setback, taking a licking, and keep on ticking. Yeah, but it's also a longer term process of being tenacious, being determined. That's what keep on pushing is. That's part of what that philosophy is, that you have to be willing to stay in the game, right? If you're not in the game, you don't have a chance of winning. Tenacious people are resilient because they're like, man, I'm in this for the long haul. And that's I guess a question that each of us have to answer for ourselves, right? On this success journey. Are you in this for the long haul or not? Do you want to be a one-hit wonder? Hey, even one-hit wonders in whatever field, they were in it for a while, and unfortunately for them, when they hit the big times, they didn't continue to keep on pushing. And that's what all of us need to do. Keep on pushing, right? So those are the thoughts I wanted to share with you, man. I'm always so excited to be able to hang out with you. Thank you for tuning in. Remember that, being resilient is such an integral part to this success journey. All of us want to achieve success. However it is that we define success, it doesn't come without having a resilient mindset. Don't forget that. So again, thank you for tuning in. Hey, looking forward to connecting next week. And don't forget to visit my podcast on YouTube, youtube.com/keeponpushing always. Leave a comment, share this with your friends, and invite them to join us next week. Until then, you know what to do, right? Keep on pushing.